store's on fire this weekend, I am not to be bothered when I'm jacked in.
What's the one thing the Nether Dungeon never had and won't be expected?
You are the prize we seek now, Max.
Power grows with each soul committed to the game.
Okay, well, if we're going in there against the Nether, then we're gonna need firepower.
Let's rock! Stop them!
Step off, bros! Hey, Nether dick!
Come on, all those people out there!
What would happen if the game went mobile?
Imagine hundreds, if not thousands, of Nether-possessed game junkies like your friend here, just running through the streets, running amok.
It's up to us to stop it.
This is like a movie!
Troubleshooting.
All right.
Dude, that background's awesome.
Jeremy, Scott, are you finally here? What the hell?
Man.
Well played, sir.
What's going on, Jeff in Vegas? How are you guys doing?
Dude, awesome. Good to be here with you, man.
Yeah, man, stoked.
I'm excited to talk about your movie, man. I'm Generation X, so I graduated high school in 1984. So a lot of your movie, I got a lot of the right gags, and it's pretty much my childhood overload. I loved it.
I love that, man. That's awesome to hear. That's, you are the kind of people we made this for then,
That's part of the tribe, man, exactly.
Well, Max Reload, it's a love letter to video games and gamers. Tell me where the idea came from. What was the spark of inspiration?
You take it, man.
Totally, man. Yeah. So Scott and I, we've been gamers since we knew what a game was, and so that love of video games essentially is where we connected over Facebook, and we'd both been filmmakers, and so we wanted to really make something special. We started with a short film called Show No Mercy that went super well. That had Martin Cove and his son Jesse Cove from Karate Kid.
Yeah.
That was kind of like our proof of ability, I guess, in a sense. And then when we were out in LA, I think we were doing a documentary on independent gaming. And as we were driving back, I had seen this article, and it was talking about the Doom 2016 game. And there was an Easter egg within the game where if you ran some of the tracks through a spectrograph, it would the waveforms would appear like pentagrams and crazy demonic symbols and whatnot. And I said, hey, that's kind of interesting. What if that actually, in reality, was a malevolent being behind those developers who put in the idea to make a simple Easter egg that actually affected people? Maybe that's why bad things happen today.
Subliminal code,
right?
yeah.
Just kind of like a weird rabbit hole. And so go ahead.
I'll just say, I felt your film, it's hard to describe what exactly it is. And I found it to be Scott Pilgrim, Last Starfighter. But most of all, I don't know if anyone said this to you, but Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Nice.
Everybody's has the mask on, and it's, they're all watching it and all like a sacrifice. And I thought that's the same thing with your game.
Halloween 3, man, that outlier in the franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, ultimately we wanted to make a movie that we wanted to watch. That's really what it came down to. We wanted to make something just fun.
That was literally the thing when we started the script writing process. A lot of people will sit down and go, okay, what's hot, what's cool, what will sell? For us, it was, knowing that we're going to do this totally indie and satisfying like that childhood dream of like, if we could make the film that we would have loved to have seen as kids. And let's be honest, we're still big kids, still see now, what would that look like? And that was like the framework, the box that we built Max around.
Yeah.
And did you create all the video game footage yourselves, or did you appropriate any existing games?
Dude,
well, there's a mixture, right? In the very beginning,
great question.
I played World of Warcraft for far too long. And so a lot of that beginning footage, it was all recreated, right? We had some awesome developers, and they basically made that world. And it was really cool for me as I was a cinematographer for the film as well, to kind of digitally create shots and movements within that world. So that was completely crafted.
The guys at Terrasec Games, they're game developers we actually featured in a documentary a few years ago and became friends with. So when it came time to use, was Unreal Engine and
I believe
a couple
of
different wares where you can move the camera. That was neat to watch the team interact. And as Jeremy mentioned, as a DP, watch him kind of guide the cinematography in a virtual environment. That was super cool.
And then no trouble with copyright, or with existing games or anything like that? Or was it fair use? Or
so that was since that was not a game, there was no issues. And then the ColecoVision game, you can speak to that.
Yeah, so the ColecoVision aspect of it, more the 8-bit footage
of Nether Dungeon.
The game central to the story. you know, we've been looking a long time for a development team that could make something that would be true to form, right? Something that would appeal to those who grew up with Atari and Coleco and, you know, the 8-bit early iterations of gaming. Just stumbled through social media on this amazing team of developers that had a game already made called Deep Dungeon Adventure. And I saw their little YouTube playthrough of it, and I was like, oh my God, this is it, you know? So we reached out over Facebook, and the team is, you know, international, and through many conversations explained what we were doing, who was involved, who was in the film, and they agreed to reskin and create custom sprites or characters and essentially make their game Deep Dungeon Adventure into Nether Dungeon.
And it worked pretty well because it was a similar concept to what Nether Dungeon might be. And then the final boss scene in Nether Dungeon, which the graphics changed to a side scroller, obviously we created that on our end with our team, but that was the like next level portion of why Nether Dungeon was such a big deal.
Because
So
You guys keep forgetting to mention my favorite game when I was a kid was Intellivision. You don't mention Intellivision at all. Got to stick up for my games for Intellivision.
For sure.
That was for rich kids. I know we had Atari, you know, but my neighbor got Intellivision, and of course we all went over there because that was such the best game unit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
So I love Fallout games. It seemed like a game version of Clerks, you know, with Kevin Smith thrown in too.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, huge inspiration to us.
Big
king
time.
of the indie, scene, I guess, really started a lot of people on the path, especially Scott. So that was.
Yeah, man. He was that guy when I was a freaking teenager, man. Would ride my bicycle up to the video update store, and I'd just walk around reading the back of boxes. And the buddy who worked there was the older senior in high school. And he's like, hey, dude, if you have not seen this movie, you need to check it out. I know it's in black and white, but you're going to dig it. It's called Clerks. And I was like, it's just about people in a store? And he's like, no, dude, you're going to love it. And I sure did, man. So, yeah.
Did you guys find yourself cutting some pop culture references in the script? Because they go by rapid fire. I mean, it takes a couple of viewings just to figure out everything you guys are throwing in there.
So, one thing we love movies with depth, and not that Max has depth necessarily. We wanted to write a pretty simple story that anybody could follow. So if you love video games, or if you just, you were a parent to a kid who loved video games, or
yeah, dude, pizza and soda Saturday night.
You can follow it, but we wanted to interject a lot of nuances. So if you really knew the scene, you'd get it, and that's kind of like our love letter to ourselves and ourselves as kids and people like us that enjoy these references.
Yeah.
Growing up, we'd go to a movie would come out and you'd be there at midnight, or it's around the block. Next day you go to school, everyone's quoting these things.
Yeah.
And we miss those times. Movies were so quotable in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
Yeah.
And that was the humor. It was the humor from the movies and
inside
songs,
stuff,
and we wanted to kind of bring that back a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I do a lot of radio here in Las Vegas, and once upon a time, Carrie Kasem, Casey Kasem's daughter, had a radio show here that I was on, and that's how I met Jesse Cove. So it was so cool to see Martin Cove. And when you go after these 80s icons, were you surprised they said yes?
They were it was so cool because everybody that was involved, especially from the Hollywood side, was so genuine and grateful and had such a good time and made sure to reach out to us. And it was just weird because these people work on massive movies, and here they are working on our little film, and they were just so humbled to be a part of it. And it was just it was so special for us.
It was really cool, man. And it starts, for each one of them, no matter what, no one wants to sign on to, to build a building that has a crappy blueprint. So it was nice to hear that when they read the script, they said, hey, the story got me. I want to do this. This sounds cool. Now, can you guys really pull it off?
Yeah.
So it started with story for sure, but we also had the existing relationship with Marty and Jesse from our short film that we did. So we kind of proved to them we could do a lot with very little early on. And then getting a guy like Greg Grunberg, who is king of the geeks, man, to us, and having him come on not only as a star, but a producer and help reach out to his friends, that, that social currency goes a long way. People like going to parties with friends, and when it's something indie like this and it's not a huge budget, it certainly goes a long way for you to be like, hey, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
Come on, I'll be there too,
Yeah.
Well, Greg Grunberg, he's known for his serious roles, for Star Wars and other things. And he's got great comic timing. He was cracking me up the whole movie. And I was really surprised that he needs to do more comedy.
Agreed.
Man.
And I think he would agree.
Yeah, he's hilarious, dude, and just so good. He brings the depth too in those emotional scenes where it's like, he's very multifaceted.
And tell me about your experience with Kevin Smith. He gave 110% for Max Reload, and I mean the guy's crazy. And obviously, it was before his heart attack because he was a little chunky. Yeah,
that was like weeks prior.
It was literally, I think, 4 or 6 days before. We not joke. Thank God he's healthful and with us and kicking ass like he never has before. Like
we had him sweating in that VR rig.
Dude, and we put him over the edge, I think, by putting him in a VR rig for 6 hours straight, making him do, crazy battle scenes with VR guns. And that was 6 days or 4 days before the Widowmaker.
Yeah, he was just so gracious with his time. And,
amazing.
Incredibly funny. I mean, he gets there, just reads the script, memorizes it, adds his own little bits and pieces to the character.
King of the ad lib, man.
The directors always say, they love when you're on a project like yours. They don't want to take over. They love when you're handling everything and tell them what to do.
Right.
It was neat, man. Kevin came in like a calculated tornado and just killed it. And we only had him on set for 6 hours.
Yeah, about 6 hours. Yeah,
6 hours.
We managed to put him throughout most of the movie. So
yeah, that was the plan.
We're very tactful and scrappy with how we do producing.
Have to be.
And tell me about the evolution of Eugene's fur-colored coat that he wore through the whole movie. That just cracked me up.
Dude, yeah, we had some great costume designers and
it's specifically on that. Remember, like we always had in the script a coat with neon fringe and it was kind of techy. And
we wanted him just to be this larger than life goofball who's been hiding out in his basement with his mom. Back in the day, he wore the Michael Jackson jacket. And
he's always a little like over the top,
And so it's kind of like he's been in his own bubble so long, and he's been drinking his own Kool-Aid for so long that he just looks and wears.
I think it was Greg who called us too and was like, "Hey, this coat's gonna be awesome. Can we put like a pimp fringe on it?" We're like, "Dude, you do you. Talk to the costume
Loved it. I loved it. And is it me, or does Tom Plumley sound like T.J. Miller? Through the whole movie, it was driving me crazy. He's got the same inflections and the same sound. Is that the first time you've heard that?
Miller mixed with Matthew Broderick, mixed with Jason
Broderick, T.J. He's got that voice. It's like the mischievous, freaking it's awesome.
Yeah.
Tom's gonna be his own
Tom's
man.
A star.
The star's rising, but he's got some of those notes for sure.
I love the attention you guys had to detail in your set design. There was a keyboard with old-fashioned typewriter keys. I mean, you had such great detail in all of your scenes.
Yeah. We wanted we really, so like when we were doing production design, I put together their computers and their keyboards specifically. So Max had his green theme, Liz had a pink with stickers all over it computer. Reggie had like a yellow and black one, all the lights matched, and then Liz had like a pink keyboard. Eugene had like a cool keyboard, but it was kind of like a throwback keyboard. So there's a lot of things that really, all those little tiny details help, get you invested in the film. And
just like gamers personalize their avatar, man, we kind of did that with a lot of the brands we worked with. And I think, from the keyboard company to the chairs and every gaming brand you see in the film, which there's like 30 plus, were brands we established personal relationships with because there's stuff that we used. Because we game every day, every night, Overwatch and Doom and all sorts of stuff. And we're like, all right, how can we get, ASIO keyboards? How can we get Vertigear in here? How can we get X, Y, and Z in here? So it was stuff that we used and we're familiar with.
Yeah.
Well, leaving you today, I think my favorite line in the whole movie was, hope I'm quoting it right, "Denning away an insured classic," the DeLorean. I just love that line. And also, that's the money shot for the movie. You guys got a DeLorean.
It's awesome.
Yeah. We knew if we were going to do anything that was period specific to, 80s that had to have that Back to the Future.
Nod to some of our favorite films.
Tip to the hat.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Tip of the hat.
Well, guys, congratulations on a great film that made me so nostalgic, and I guess that was the whole point of the movie, and had a lot of fun with it. And when you guys have a chance, come out to Las Vegas. So I'd love to hang out with you. We'll go have some fun.
We'll try and steal the DeLorean, brother.
Absolutely, man. Are you guys in LA?
We're in Phoenix, so
Arizona.
we're usually up in LA at least once a year in January for SHOT Show. So.
Oh, Phoenix, that's the other side of us. That's cool too. That'll work.
Yep.
All right, guys, we'll stay cool because I know it's 115 here in Vegas, so we'll talk again soon, all right?
All right, man. Thanks for the
Thanks
time.
so much, man.
All right, take care, guys. Thanks.
You too,
Jeff.